The Washington Commanders are starting a new era in 2023 with new ownership, with Josh Harris leading that group and coming in. Ron Rivera and his team last year were 8-1 in 2022. So the question is, did they get better? When you look at the moves that they made in the offseason, you look at the roster that they have, it's hard to say that the Commanders are any better or worse, really. I think they are, roughly the same, kind of a in the middle kind of team. They lost some good offensive linemen along with both of the quarterbacks that they used last season, but they were able to replace some of their offensive linemen by signing 4 players, including Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates, who are a couple starters. The other guys are backups, but these guys coming in as starters, like those are some really good offensive linemen to bring in. And they were also able to get Jacoby Brissett to join Sam Howell in the QB room. And as of right now, Sam Howell is QB1. We've heard people talking really good things about Sam Howell. We were hearing good things about Sam Howell last year before he got the injury. So coming into this year, it's going to be really interesting to see how Sam Howell does. And admittedly, I'm not much of a college football fan. And when Sam Howell got drafted, it was a little bit later round, so it wasn't a quarterback that I really went and looked up tape on. But after going back this time around and looking at Sam Howell, I can see what the Commanders see in him. And look, we could finally be at a time in history where the Commanders, or Washington, they finally got a quarterback that they can rely on for the future. So that's obviously going to be the number one thing that we're looking for from the Commanders this season. Now, one thing Washington is not short on is playmakers on offense. Now, they have a lot of talent and good depth at wide receiver, and their top 2 running backs are one of the better pairings in the league. But those guys are going to have to stay healthy, right? Healthy, they're a good duo. So overall, the talent that's on the offense, I think it can all come together to help Sam Howell. And for Sam Howell, there's really going to be no excuse for not performing well this season. If a lot of these guys on offense are able to stay healthy for most of the season, he has what he needs as a quarterback. The offensive line might not be the best in the league, but they have some pretty good offensive linemen right now. Again, they lost some, they brought some in. So it's going to be a little shaky, but Sam Howell can move too. So there's a lot of potential in this offense. Eric Bieniemy coming in could help that situation. We're going to have to see. Recently it came out that Eric Bieniemy is apparently too intense as a coach. That's kind of the point in a combat sport, but whatever. But when you think about how good the Commanders' defense can be, Hal should have plenty of opportunity to win games. They have maybe the best defensive front in football if all these guys are healthy and on the field together. They drafted some studs in the secondary over the last couple years when they got Carmen Curl, Emmanuel Forbes, and Jartavius Murray. And Jartavius Murray, he can play both corner and safety, so they got a guy with versatility back there. Plus, they still have Kendall Fuller as cornerback 1. So really, the only place this defense is lacking is linebacker. They're hoping that Jamin Davis can come around. I don't know if that's going to happen. But this defense can be really good. And, in today's NFL, if you can stop teams from scoring and your team can score, 24 points a game, you have a pretty good chance of winning. So I think the Commanders, there's a path to see them have a good season. Question is, will it happen? Well, let's look through their schedule and try to figure that out. So week 1, the Commanders start with the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, in my opinion, are going to have the worst record in the NFL this year. And the Commanders start the season 1-0. But full transparency from this point, look, the Commanders have a very difficult schedule, especially because they're in the NFC East, where they have 3 teams in their own division that are likely to make the playoffs. So 6 games against playoff teams automatically, okay? Then look at who else they have. Week 2, Broncos. Week 3, Bills. Week 9, Patriots. Week 10, Seahawks. Week 13, Dolphins. Week 16, Jets. Week 17, 49ers. All those are all potential playoff teams. Every single one of them. Maybe not the Patriots. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but every single one of those, possible playoff team, probable playoff team, right? So, in the talent level on those teams is crazy. I think it's realistic to say that the Commanders just aren't where those teams are at right now. And so I have them losing all those games. And there are also a couple games in here The Falcons game, I have the Commanders losing because I think the talent level is, roughly the same. But I like Arthur Smith as a coach more than I like Ron Rivera. I like Ron Rivera a lot as a person. But if you're talking as a head coach, like for the most part in his head coaching career, it's been pretty trash. Like he got to the Super Bowl because he had a crazy defense and Cam Newton went nuts one season. Right. Other than that, pretty bland coaching career. And I like Arthur Smith. I think he's a good coach, and I think he's got more out of the Falcons in his coaching tenure there than any other coach or most coaches would have. So I picked the Falcons to win that game in Week 6, and then you have the Rams in Week 15. I think they're a better coached football team, and they have some high end talent. So overall, I have the Commanders finishing the season at 2-15. Okay, the second win comes against the Bears in Week 5. They lose every game after that. But again, they have a crazy schedule, like so many playoff games, basically. Like realistically, there might be 5 games on this schedule that Washington can win. Unless Sam Howell is that dude. That's really what it comes down to, is what is Sam Howell going to be? My record for them, my record prediction reflects the fact that I don't know anything about Sam Howell, and I don't know what to expect from this team with him there. So if he ends up being a guy, then yeah, they're probably going to, come away with, 6, 7 wins. But even still, this is a wild schedule, and the Commanders are going to have a tough go of it, in my opinion, this year. So I think Commanders fans should be looking more forward to what's happening in 2024. I don't know if that's already happening in Commanders land, but, I think if Sam Howell's a guy, you have a bright future. New ownership coming in, creating a new culture. Things can finally be good again in Washington. We'll see if it's able to happen that way. But don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with Division Debates, as we have an episode every day leading into the NFL season. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you for the next video.